number of headline-grabbing protests by activists hoping to highlight the need for climate action. From climbing oil rigs to blocking roads, these events have grabbed the headlines by being big, noisy and disruptive.
But on the 5th of September, a group of walkers peacefully started a 500-mile pilgrimage to share their message of solidarity through a journey of faith and hope. Shay Rhodes caught up with them on their route.
Over the past few weeks, this group of pilgrims have been quietly making their way on foot from London to Glasgow on an epic 500-mile journey. But this isn't your regular pilgrimage, because it's under the banner Camino de COP, a pilgrimage for climate justice.
We are pilgrims, we are pilgrims, and we are walking, Bella ciao, Bella ciao, Bella ciao, ciao, ciao.
The walk to the COP26 conference has been organised by Extinction Rebellion Faith Bridge, a multi-faith offshoot of the group.
Well, I've got my walking boots on, so I've got a chance of catching up with the pilgrims, but what I really want to find out is what is the relationship between faith and climate protest?
Barrister and mum of four Melanie is a devout Christian and the group's spiritual leader. I asked her why she made the decision to get involved with climate activism.
There's a certain calling when your faith says this is something that you need to do. You answer that call, even if it takes you in new directions.
Before you got involved with this pilgrimage, what was your impression of Extinction Rebellion?
I've been part of Extinction Rebellion from April 2019. Before that, I was very suspicious. I'm a lawyer by profession, and I'd read about it in the press a little bit, and I was really suspicious. And then there came a moment where I walked past an Extinction Rebellion protest, and there was something, some feeling in me that I should be on the other side of those police lines. And I walked through, and I haven't looked back, because this is an expression of my faith.
And obviously your end destination is Glasgow. It's the COP26 conference. Do you think it's going to bring about real change?
This is probably the most important climate conference of my lifetime, probably of all our lifetimes. We have the IPCC report, which is effectively called Code Red for humanity. So if we can't come to some kind of agreement to take dramatic action at this point, then we are in a real pickle. Really, we're in trouble.
The 500-mile journey to Glasgow will take the pilgrims 56 days to complete, taking them through challenging terrain in all weathers. For Stephen, who's Jewish, this is very much a personal journey.
I've left my partner behind in St Albans, and I've left my work as a supply teacher in primary schools. I've left that behind. It felt important to do that, to be able to come on this pilgrimage.
I'm keen to know what Stephen's family think about his decision to take part.
My dad and my daughter didn't think I would make it to the end, but I think they're now revising their view as we're about 350 miles into the journey. But I do feel I'm doing it for my daughter's future and for future generations also.
The Pope and other religious leaders have called for urgent action over climate change from those in Glasgow. Throughout the journey, the pilgrims have been doing their bit to spread the word. Vicar Helen has provided spiritual support as she's juggled her job in a busy parish with being a pilgrim.
My parishioners are engaged and interested. I've obviously kept them fully informed as to what I'm doing, and I feel like I'm a bit of a conduit between the people who are doing the walking and who've been able to take the time to do that and people who can't and are at home but are worried.
We are walking on sacred ground.
And in fact, two of them have joined me at various points. They're very aware that there is a crisis. The act of physically walking from one place to another over such a long distance has definitely impacted how I understand living out my faith.
For pilgrims like Melanie, being part of the climate cause hasn't been without sacrifice. She now works part-time so she can spend more time on activism.
I think my husband worries a great deal about being a climate activist. Whenever I go out the door, he says, "Remember, don't get arrested." And of course I'm not going to get arrested. I'm an activist that needs to really still be the breadwinner, bring in some money into the family. So I think my children, though, are very much more of a mindset that says something needs to be done.
Finally, it's time for the weary pilgrims to put their feet up and bed down for the night at Higher Bentham Methodist Church in Yorkshire.
It's been an amazing experience to be together with people of all these different faiths, and just to be closely together, to be sleeping on the same floors with them, and just working out how we can get through some quite challenging situations. We've all worked together and created a beautiful community, and this is an example of the type of community that we want to create in the world.
The final destination here is to end up at Glasgow at the COP26 conference. Do you have much hope for what's going to be agreed there?
I do have hope, but as far as I'm concerned, I need to be doing whatever I can with whatever small bit of hope there is. It's important to me. I want to be able to, at the end of my life, say I did everything that I could. So while there is any hope, I believe that we all need to do whatever we can to avert climate catastrophe.
Now that I've spent more time with the pilgrims and heard a bit more about their spiritual motivations, it's clear to me that even though Glasgow is the end of their pilgrimage, for them it's very much the beginning of a journey for all of us towards a much more sustainable future.
Thanks, Shay. And the Camino to COP pilgrims finally made their way into Glasgow yesterday as part of a huge procession through the city centre.
Well, there's no doubt that a lot rests on what happens in Glasgow over the next 2 weeks. The Prime Minister has said that